Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today is Stephen Lawrence Day, a day inaugurated in 2018 under Theresa May's government to encourage us to remember the murder in 1993 of the young 18-year-old Stephen Lawrence in an unprovoked, racially motivated attack. And the consequent investigations into the way the police reacted in other areas of our national life have made a contribution to our understanding of racism in Britain, though there is enormous amount still to do, obviously, as is revealed partly by the reaction to the most recent government report on racism. But today, as well as wanting to think about victims of racism and particularly the young people's suffering at the hands of racist jibes and attacks, I want to think about the parents of children who have died violently and tragically. Neville Lawrence, following Stephen's death, eventually moved to Jamaica. Doreen Lawrence, as you know, Baroness Lawrence, has undertaken a huge number of charitable projects and has campaigned consistently with Neville for justice for those who killed Stephen, to be brought to proper retribution. But the tragedy, I think, for me, is that, like very, very, very many couples whose children have died in such a violent way, they have been unable to sustain their own relationship. Neville says that they've hardly spoken about how they've reacted to it since that day. The grief has just been too much for them. Neville's admitted partly his inability to reach out, but whatever the reason, they are now no longer a couple. And this is, as I say, absolutely typical for many reasons, and maybe it's guilt, each of them thinking it was their fault, or perhaps that it was the other's fault. Doreen was away at the time of Stephen's death, and Neville says that he wished he'd kept him locked indoors on that day, which of course wouldn't have been a sensible thing to do, but that sense of surely I could have done something about it. Or maybe it's the sense that as a parent it should have been you who have died. Neville says that he was 51, Stephen was 18. It should have been him, Neville, who had been taken, and that sense of the inappropriateness of a child dying before a parent is almost unbearable. I'm sure. So today I want to think about parents in that kind of situation, to be grateful that my own children are alive and well, but to be conscious of the enormous grief suffered by many, many parents who have lost children tragically, violently, from illness, from all sorts of different reasons. But whatever the reason, to lose a child of whatever age, it must be horrific. And I want this day just to remember that and be conscious of their needs and to remember them in my prayers.